Khalia Butler. Welcome to the Nomadic Pizza, the podcast in which we keep it light and fun and real.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this, bro.
It's a pleasure. Sunny
Yes.
day also.
Beautiful.
Incredible time
Yeah.
to start the podcast and have
Yes.
you on the show.
Thank you.
My first question is gonna be deep, so we start, with a banger. So, if you were to describe yourself as a human
Mm.
without confining yourself to predefined labels, which 5 words would you use?
I would say that I'm a revolutionist, that I'm a visionary, that I'm resilient, I'm liberated, and at my core, I am love.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack here. So let's start with the last one. Your
Okay.
love. Can
Love.
you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, I think the most authentic space you can be is in one of love for self. And once you master that, it gives you the capability to extend that to others. And I think for the early days of my life, I didn't love me. So it made it impossible for not only me to love others, but me to even love life, you
Yeah.
know? And in my journey, I've gained that love for self. And now I get to give it to the world. And that's a beautiful space to be in. I always say, I wish I could bottle up this feeling and hand it out to others, because once you get to this point, you want everybody to feel this way.
And that's beautiful. I totally agree. I mean,
Yeah.
when you really like in connection with your true self,
Mm,
that's when you know that you can really make an impact
yes.
for the best of
Mm-hmm.
this world.
Yes.
And I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But now I need to really jump back into the first word
Okay.
that you said. And you
Okay.
said you're a revolutionist.
Yes.
Please tell us more about that.
I think revolutionists are trailblazers. They're people who do something that they may have never seen done before, or that may have never been done at all. And in the communities that I come from, I've already defied the odds by the fact that I'm living across the world. I grew up in foster care, and 1 in 4 foster kids end up in jail, 1 in 4 end up dead, 1 in 4 end up addicted to drugs, 1 in 4 end up on the streets homeless. And I experienced 3 out of the 4, but I'm still alive. I'm still here. And now, as you know, through Kamp Khalia, I'm going to start something that's extremely revolutionary, which I'm sure we'll get into later.
Yeah, we're going to get into that later.
It's going to change the world, not just my world, but the world of so many kids just like me.
That's powerful. Beautiful purpose to have.
Thank you, man. Thank
And I think the listeners would like to hear more about, your background,
you.
because you said you were in foster care and so on. Can you tell us like what's your origin?
Yeah,
Like
so
starting,
where I was
you're
born.
from and
Okay.
like a bit of that.
Yeah, so I'm from Maryland. That's where I was born. But I grew up most of my life in Massachusetts. My mother's from Jamaica Plain. My father wasn't really in the picture. My mother struggled with drugs and mental health. So at a very young age, I was in and out of the foster care system. Up until I was about 16, I was kind of just bounced around until this one family took guardianship of me until I graduated high school. I come from 6. I'm one of 6. I'm number 3. And we had a really challenging life. At this point in my life, I can look back on it and say my mom was doing the best she could with what she knew. And if she knew better, she would have done better. But a lot of the trauma and the pain I experienced as a child shaped who I am today as an adult, and the way I perceive the world and who I want to be.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of what you said before. It's like you discovered who you are, and that's why you're able to spread love. Like you
Yes.
said, your love, and you are able to spread that love because you are yourself. And I feel like just the story of where you come from and how accepting you are now of your past and even all your struggles, I think that, that really speaks truly about who you are
Yeah.
and the fact that you really embrace that and
Thank
you've
you.
made it part of your
Yeah.
now.
I say that my pain was a path to my purpose,
Yeah.
right? Like I always tell you, like, you got to go through stuff to get through it. And had I not experienced that trauma, that pain, that hurt, I would never have the empathy and compassion I do for people who are experiencing the same thing. Like, when you come from different worlds and you don't understand how much not having parents, not having consistency impacts you later on in life, it's hard to relate to, right? It's like, get over it. But because I lived it, not only can I empathize with those people, but it gives me a urge and a desire to make their lives easier so they don't have to end up an addict or end up in jail, end up homeless like I did.
Yeah, I think that this is the beautiful bridge to one of the questions that I had coming up. Because in our previous talk before starting to record is, you mentioned something about the fact that we all share a very similar purpose, and it goes something, and I quote, "I believe that everyone's purpose deep down is the same, to become the best version of themselves and to use that to help others."
Yes.
Can you please, explain what you mean by this?
Yeah, because I think as people, we always are wanting more. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? But the truth is, your purpose is you. We all have a journey, we all have a path. It is our job to heal the wounds of our past, connect with that deep love of self, the love that is inadvertently in every single one of us, and find a way to pour that love once it's overflowing. Because if you really do the work, it'll be overflowing. You can't help but give it to others. And then share that with the world. For you, it's your podcast. For me, it's Kamp Khalia. It's my book. It's when I'm on stages telling my story. It's when I'm posting content, showing people they're not alone in their journey, showing people that they can too do the work and live a life of liberation, a life of freedom, a life out of societal constructs that makes them feel whole. And eventually, they want to give it to others. So all of our purpose is the same. We just act on it differently. A doctor's purpose isn't cutting into bodies. It's the passion for saving the life. So all of our purpose is self and then giving.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
I feel like it really connects also with something that I've heard before. Like actually it was yesterday. I think it was Jimmy Carr.
Okay.
And he was saying that, it's never about either the journey or the destination, but it's about who we become, along the journey.
Yes.
And I feel like once we are full with ourselves, like we're fulfilled, and we understand that our purpose then is bigger than just materialistic things. And
exactly.
then he was also saying like it's not fun to have the things. It's fun the chasing.
Yes, the chase.
Yeah.
And I always say, ask yourself, when you think about your future, do you want the thing, or do you want how you think the thing will make you feel?
Yeah.
Because so many of us chase happiness in material, in relationship, in the career, and then we get it and we're like, I didn't even want this. I thought it would feel better. I thought it would make me happy. I thought it would bring me joy, yet I'm still miserable. So it's important to make sure that you're not chasing object, you're chasing self.
Yeah. That's incredible. And I think I would like to link it to, you mentioned before this talk that it was a podcast that actually saved your life. And
Yeah.
this is also one of the big reasons why we're sitting here
Yeah.
today. So can you tell us like about that part?
Yes, of course.
And tell us like what is the series of events that brought you today to Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand?
Yeah, so for me, Thailand has always been a bucket list place, but it was a dream that I thought would always be left on the pillow. I'm 15, 16. I would tell my partners, if I ever get married, my honeymoon's gonna be in Thailand. It's always somewhere I've wanted to go. But because of my circumstances and because the life I lived as a child, as a preteen, as a young adult, I didn't think I'd ever get here. And when I finally decided to get sober, I had moved to Houston, Texas, because I was 1 year sober. I still was struggling with thoughts of wanting to take my own life, and I didn't get it. I did the work. I'm sober now. It's been a year, right? I did the thing, but I wasn't happy because I didn't do the work, the inner work. And I got to Houston. I was staying with a family member that fell through. I ended up homeless, and I was staying in my car. And I was watching Jay Shetty on purpose regularly because I couldn't find hope. I wasn't religious, and I had nothing to hold on to. And a friend of mine, actually my therapist from rehab, was like, you should watch Jay Shetty. And I started watching him religiously, 4 or 5 episodes a day.
Wow.
And he would say, like, a lot of people get in their own way because they don't start. I knew I had a voice, I knew I had a story, and I knew I wanted to tell it. But my circumstances wasn't that of someone who starts a podcast. So I started taking my car, driving to an abandoned car wash, parking in between the bay to funnel the noise from the street, and I would tape my script on my dashboard, put my phone on my steering wheel, and I would record my podcast, Comfortable in the Chaos. And I did my first 7 episodes out of that car before I got an apartment.
Wow.
Yeah, and it changed my life. Jay Shetty's wisdom forced me to look in. It's the first time I started meditating, first time I started doing the hard work, not the 9 to 5 work, the real work on me.
Wow. That's like the most life-changing
Yeah, and it
experience,
started
sounds.
everything. Yeah, so after that, I started believing in myself. I started manifesting Thailand, and before you knew it, I was like, I'm going. I can do this. Why not me? Because at first it was like, why would a kid like me get to go to Thailand? But then I shift that perspective and say, why not me? Why don't I deserve to experience the same beauty in life that everybody else does? I called my aunt and said, hey, I'm moving to Thailand. Can I come live with you for 3 months so I can save some money? And she was like, you never even been out the country. And I said, yeah, but I want to do this. And it changed my life.
How old were you at the time?
I was 27,
27.
28.
How
Yeah.
old are you now?
I'm
Just
32. 32.
5 years ago.
About, yeah.
Also, you mentioned something that I need to deep dive into.
Yeah.
And you said that you were 1 year sober when this happened, the situation in the car,
Yes.
with your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain, like, how long that was, like your addiction to which kind of substance, and
Yeah.
what was your life at the time?
I think that my addiction started a lot younger than I knew, but at the time I didn't correlate it to addiction because you're 18, you're 19, you're 20. I was in the military. Drinking was normal. We have a good day of training, we're gonna drink. And then I'm 18, 19, I'm partying, I'm drinking. It wasn't really until I got older and I was isolating drinking. It wasn't something I was doing with people. I wasn't partying.
Yeah.
I was coming home from work and blacking out in my house every single day. I was putting myself in dangerous positions. I was drinking and driving. I almost hurt myself and somebody else drinking and driving the wrong way on the highway. And it didn't shake me. Nothing shook me because I was so focused on running away from myself. And a part of me didn't want to be alive. So I wasn't worried about what happened to me. And selfishly, it forced me to not worry about how my actions could also impact others. I was in a very dark place. I had a very abusive childhood. And I think as an adult, I grew super insecure. I felt like my parents didn't love me. How could anybody else? If the people who gave me life don't see my worth, then I must be worthless. And I drank to escape that. I had this exterior of charming, the popular cool kid, but inside, I was crying. I was hurt. I was running from myself, man. I was running from myself, and eventually I had enough, and I had to get sober. But that part of my life lasted nearly a decade.
Wow.
Nearly a decade, and I managed it well. So even when I went to rehab, people were like, "You're not an alcoholic," and I'm like, "If only come to my house." I had to throw away 100 bottles, and it was just for this past 3 weeks, So, um, the thing with being a functioning addict, alcoholic, is a lot of people don't know, and you're suffering alone.
Can you explain, like, functional addict at the
Yeah.
time, what meant for you?
Yeah, so for me, I didn't realize how much I was an addict because my life didn't lose anything. Yeah, I had these reckless nights, but even jail didn't shake me because I still had a great job. I was making the most money I ever made. I went to work every day. I never was late. I did my job to a T. I was great at it. I was getting promotions. I had my dream apartment. I had my dream car. Outside looking in, I'm not an addict. I'm not an alcoholic. My mindset was people like my mother who dysfunctional addicts. Their life is in disarray.
Apart.
They're losing their kids. They can't keep a job. They're in and out of homelessness. That wasn't my circumstances. From the outside looking in, I had it all together. When I decided to get sober, it wasn't because I lost everything. It was because I lost myself. And I had enough of not knowing who I was.
Yeah, I think that this is also the shift that maybe I wanted to ask you more about. And it's like this, I had enough about it. Was this the life-changing moment that just made you decide to go into rehab, or was there anything else that contributed to it?
I think it was a combination of things. But mainly, I was working at a facility that housed addicts. So it was similar to a jail, but it was when people's lives became criminal due to their addictions.
Okay.
So they would go to this specific facility, you'd go there for a minimum of 90 days, and they would try to help you get sober and get back in the streets and get your life together. I had got promoted, and I'm going to work every day, and I'm telling these gentlemen, get sober, and they believed in me. And knowing they believed in me, but on my lunch break, I had to go have a beer because if not, I would have the shakes because I was withdrawing by the end of my shift. I felt like a hypocrite. And at the time, I thought that job was my purpose. I knew how I felt when I went into work every day, when a clinician didn't come into work and I got to hold the meeting for the guys and I got to tell my story. And when they would say, you don't understand, and I could say, actually, I do. I've been in jail before. I've been in trouble before. I've lost people I love because of my addiction before. I could relate to them on another level, so I thought I could change them, and I thought that was my purpose. So I said, if I really want to do this, if I really want to change people's lives, I have to change my own. So I told my boss, if I take this position, I need to get sober. And I'm a person, if I put my mind to something seriously, I do it. So I went to rehab because I had tried to get sober a million times before, but I'd never been in rehab. And this was how I knew I was serious this time.
Did rehab work forever for you? Did you ever relapse?
I've never relapsed. So my first serious attempt at sobriety, I went to rehab on the last day of August in 2020. And I wasn't sober until the first day of September because I got super lit on the way there. But this year, September 1st, I celebrate 5 years of sobriety.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you.
That's big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like, it's my 5th birthday. Like I turned 32 this year. I didn't want to celebrate. I want to celebrate my 5 years of sobriety because that's when I chose to live.
That's beautiful. Like I was just about to ask you, like you just called it like the 5th birthday, and I was like, do you feel like this is your actual life?
Yes, I feel like I just started to live. I always say I feel more me today than I ever have in my entire 32 years of life. Like Khalia 2025 is the most I've ever felt like Khalia, the most I've ever known myself. When I decided to get sober, I decided to be born again. When you're born, you don't choose to be born. But when I chose to get sober, I chose to take my life back, and that's why I say I'm liberated. I've liberated myself from my past, from who I thought I had to be, from the box people try to put me in, and I get to turn 5 this year, and I feel like a 5-year-old, young, excited, ready to explore the world, curious, things that I couldn't do as a child because I was more worried about my safety than living life itself.
Just more risk taking, but also it's more an embracing the experience.
Yes.
It sounds like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. I just want to go a couple steps back.
Okay.
Because I would like to link, what made it possible for you to just be here in Chiang Mai, in Thailand. You said it was a bucket list. Then you called your auntie.
Yeah. Shout out to Auntie Joyce. I love you.
Shout out to Auntie Joyce.
Yeah.
But then also, like, I was wondering, how did you make it happen? Like, what were your actions that actually keep you, here? What made you happen for yourself?
Well, something my boy Jay Shetty taught me is abundance is a mindset. And I think that you attract what you desire, but I also believe that manifestation, isn't what people think. A lot of people think you write something down, you sit and you meditate on it, and it comes to you. But it takes action. So I had to be committed to the journey. I called my aunt. The moment I got back to Massachusetts, I'm looking for jobs. And knowing your intuition and trusting that the universe conspires in your favor when you are seeking your true desires. So I had to do what was best, not maybe what was more comfortable. So I got 2 jobs at the same time when I got back to Massachusetts. One was offering me $34 an hour. Okay. One was 16. One was working in a field that was familiar to me, mental health, but I didn't like how they treated their patients. Okay. So I denied the job. It would have paid me $20 more an hour. But Dunkin' Donuts coffee said I can pass out affirmations in the drive-thru. So I took that job instead because it allowed me to pour into others. And I think when you start behaving like the person you're trying to become, you get rewarded for that. So I worked there for 90 days and I booked my flight. I booked my flight like this. I met a lady and she had told me her birthday was 777, and that was my sign because the flight number was 777. And I said, universe, give me a sign. If this is my flight, something will happen. I go to Uber to work, and the lady's like, yeah, my birthday's coming up 777. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna book my flight. So I booked my flight. I get to Chiang Mai. I'm supposed to be doing a work away, but because I'm super tattooed, it falls through.
Okay.
And I'm living in Krabi at the time. I'm in a Facebook group called Chiang Mai Nomad Girls because I joined a few groups just to kind of, catch a feel where I wanted to be. Someone DMs me and says, hey, if you're ever in Chiang Mai, I would love to link up. I'm also from the States. So I end up going to Chiang Mai. I go to my first ever open mic night. I do some poetry. And the girl who I met introduces me to her friend who has an English teaching job. Okay, so she's like, I'm teaching English. I'm moving though. It's no longer aligned. If you want it, I can get you in. The next day I go up to the school, I get the job. And it's been like that for me ever since I got here. So when people are like, how did you adjust? It wasn't hard. I feel like it was aligned. This is where I was supposed to be. And once I took the risk, everything else just fell into place.
Yeah, it's incredible because also, all the coincidences, that feel like luck.
It's alignment.
It's alignment. You were already moving towards the direction that you wanted to take.
Mm-hmm.
You were taking, the plan A without any plan B, C, or anything else. You were just committed to come to Thailand. So, and also like with a job here that actually allowed you to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
You just put yourself out there.
When I came here, I only had $700 and no job. So I just knew I was meant to be here. And when people at home are like, you're crazy, like, what are you going to do if you don't find a job? I said, listen, I feel in me that this is the step that I'm supposed to take. I know that as long as I believe it, it will happen. And it has.
I mean, honestly, this is like one of my core beliefs is that 99% of the things that happen in your adulthood, you can influence them.
Yes.
You always come with a luggage, but I think that as you said right at the beginning of this podcast, like you accept that luggage, you decide that you need to work with it because you cannot forget it.
Of course.
You need to embrace your past, the person that you are becoming and you have become because of that luggage.
Yes.
But then every day you get offered a chance, to make a change, and either you take it
or you let it pass you by.
Embrace change, take the risk, see what the world has to offer to you, or you just, keep going down your same route.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
what happened to you, and I feel like you keep making it happen because I feel like our audience doesn't know that you have a pretty large community on social medias. And could you share a bit more what this community is about? Like your audience, how did you build it?
I don't know. I think it happened around the same time I decided to do my podcast. I just got serious about sharing my story because I knew there was a little kid or even an adult that was going through or had experienced something similar and felt alone. I remember when I was in the foster care system, I would be so embarrassed that I was a foster kid. And it was something I didn't want to talk about. I was embarrassed that I was an addict. I carried shame around being an addict. And eventually, as I started to heal, I realized it's not who I am. It was a part of my journey, but it doesn't define me. So I want other people to know that. I want other people to know that it doesn't matter where you are, it's about where you're going. And in this moment, you might not be able to see out of it, but the smallest glimpse of light, it's there. And you have to seek it. You have to choose it. Although your trauma is not your fault, it's your responsibility to do the work. And it comes back to your thing. We all come with luggage, but you got to unpack it. So I figured me unpacking my luggage out loud in front of everyone, being vulnerable, give somebody else permission to do the same. And even if they choose not to do it on social media or do it in front of the world, one more person who unpacks their luggage, the better we all are as a people.
Yeah, I think that it's really not important on like the how you do it, the how you unpackage it. Yours was to really spread your word because I feel like you already had that burning fire within you to like make a change.
Yes.
I feel like not everyone has to put themselves out there in the same way.
No.
So I feel like the most important thing is really to unpack your luggage with the people closest to you.
Yes.
If you have some, find your tribe.
Yeah.
Because the most you unpack it, and that's also an experience that I had, and I had to struggle with. Like, I found though that the most I impacted myself, the most I opened my real self, the more like I attracted the people that were aligned with me.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. And like, I get DMs all the time saying like, I've gone to rehab because of you. Like, I will never share this on social media, but I'm 30 days sober because you've committed to your journey, and it made me believe that I could too. I've gotten DMs of people saying they've gone to therapy now because of me. I had one of my followers, and I'm grateful I can share this now because I've never had an opportunity to, because I'm so proud of them. They wanted to take their own life. And they started listening to my videos every day while they were homeless in their car, living with their dog. And they DM'd me and said, I just finally got an apartment, but I was homeless and suicidal. And your Instagram post was my morning cup of tea. It's what made me feel I can go another day. And as long as you posted, I knew I could go another day. So with my community, it's people who are living a life that I've gotten to get through. And now I get to be a beacon of light to help guide them in the same way. Even if some of them will never tell me. Those are just the people who shared it, you know? So imagine how many people that I've impacted that didn't have the courage to say, hey, you helped me in that way. So as long as I know that there's one person I can impact, I'd post if I had 5 followers. So the numbers is just more impactful.
Together with the consistency also.
Yes,
I guess
I post every day. Yeah, years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah. 2021, I started posting. So
yeah,
people only started following me really once I moved to Thailand. But I've been sharing my story for 4 years.
I feel like that's the incredible power of social media. As much as it can hurt people, it can like just show the surface, or like a shell that people want to show to think, you know.
Oh, look at me.
Exactly. But I feel like on the other hand, it's just an amplifier of like the real voices that still are like out there. And they can bring positivity and like shine this bright positive light for someone else, and
I agree.
That's incredible. I just wanted to touch, you said before, you mentioned that you're also like a speaker, and I was wondering whether this is linked also to what you started with your audience, if that was like part of something that you managed to secure for yourself or to get an access to because of that, or it was coming from another direction?
It came from another direction, kind of. Like, I was manifesting speaking engagements, right? Like, after probably a year of posting to social media, I realized the magnitude of my voice, and I wanted to be on stages. I wanted to share. I wanted to do, you know, workshops and like really be out there in the communities, inspiring the communities. But I'm a published author. I have a children's book, Khalia's Journey to Joy, and I was looking for a way to promote my children's book. I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club after school as a kid to see my siblings because we were in separate foster homes. So the only way I could see them, because I wasn't allowed at visitation at the time, was to go to the Boys and Girls Club. So I started going to the Boys and Girls Club. It was my first job, and it dinged in my head. Children's book, Boys and Girls Club. So I reached out to the Boys and Girls Club in my city that I grew up in Massachusetts, and I was like, hey guys, anybody still work there that remember me? If not, I'm an alumni. My name's Khalia. I publish a children's book. I don't want anything from you but to post it on your Instagram. I just wanted the marketing. And the president reached out, and he was like, hey, let's hop on a Zoom call. And we hopped on a Zoom, and he's like, tell me a little bit about your story. Like, I think it's super cool that you published this book. And while we were on the call, he bought 100 copies of my book on the spot and invited me to speak at their biggest fundraising event. It was my first ever speaking event at Gillette Stadium where the New England Patriots play. Shout out to Tom Brady. And it completely was like my I am worthy moment. That all of this hasn't been in vain. That me talking to a man for 5 minutes made him know I believe in her. And he believed in me so much, he was willing to pay for my flight if the Boys and Girls Club didn't. So it wasn't something necessarily my social media did. It's me putting myself out there and saying, hey, and the universe just kind of aligned it. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry how this podcast is coming alive.
Naturally,
And it's just like also
from a conversation on the stoop to
rainy
real
night
positive,
conversation on some stairs.
Yes,
outside
beautiful.
of our accommodation here in Thailand, and
exactly.
just like turning into a conversation to spread, I think, with the world.
Yeah, I'm grateful, man.
Yeah. And I just wanted to understand, because it sounds like, you have like, you identify a problem, you identify a solution, and you just make it happen. Like you did it, with yourself. You started a podcast, and then you identified, I'm coming to this boys and girls club. I read a book, so that maybe it can be connected.
Yes.
What is something that you are working on right now?
Kamp Khalia, Kamp Khalia Foundation. So it's going to be a nonprofit organization that allows youth 14 to 16 to come attend a 10-day wellness retreat in Thailand, where they will learn mindfulness, emotional intelligence, healing the inner child. They'll also have an opportunity to learn financial literacy as it relates to scarcity and lack. They'll get to participate in just excursions. And for me, it's rooted in my own childhood and the lack of resources and tools and exposure to things like Thailand, like mindfulness, like yoga, meditation, breath work, something that never was spoken into me, but has completely changed my life. And what I struggle with a lot, being somebody who wants to live a life of purpose and impact, is wanting to impact my community, but not wanting to be there. Because I have no desire to live in the States. So I was struggling mentally, like a tug of war, like, how am I gonna help my own people if I'm all the way over here? And it clicked. You don't have to be there, you can bring them here, and this will change your life even more. We both agree that traveling is like a portal. You call it the accelerator. It shifts your perspective, your mindset, and in allowing these teenagers to come here, heal from the inside out, see the world from a different point of view. They know that they're not limited to their city, they're not limited to their state, they're not limited to their country, that the world can be theirs. They just have to be willing to take that leap.
Yeah, that's honestly, like, I'm totally with you on this. I'm a big supporter of Kamp Khalia.
Yes.
It's probably, I'll try to be there to swing by.
Yeah, come. Yes, I would love that. Yeah. But it's gonna be revolutionary.
Yeah. That's also together with one of the first 5 keywords.
Yes,
that
so
you
important
use
to me. I think that
describe yourself.
Kamp Khalia is gonna change the world. The first one is in July 2026, and we're gonna start with 5 kids, and then hopefully every year we'll double it.
I'm sure you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like,
if I put my mind to something, I make it happen.
Yeah.
So I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yes.
And I would say, just to, strengthen this understanding that if you put your mindset to it, you just make it happen. What would you say is the one lesson, the single most important lesson for you that brought you to this belief?
I think the most important thing I had to learn
Yeah.
was to believe that I am worthy and to give myself permission to go after the things that I wanted. I think that for so long, I didn't think I was enough. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was deserving. I struggled immensely with imposter syndrome. So I've always been somebody who had these big dreams since I was a kid. When I was young in the foster care system, I used to say I wanted to open a group home for foster kids because the ones in my neighborhoods were terrible. The kids got treated horribly. And I wanted to create something where kids were safe, seen, free to dream, and it's always been embedded in me, but I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't believe in me. So I think the most important thing I had to overcome was that lack of self-worth, that lack of self-belief, and reminding myself and instilling in myself my worth and allowing myself to pursue the things that I want without this filter of who I was, the shame I carry about my past, saying, you can't do that, you're a foster kid. You can't do that, your mom was an addict. You can't do that, you grew up like this, or you were an addict. Who's gonna listen to you? I mean, I struggled with that a lot, that somebody's gonna listen to this former alcoholic, like my opinion or my voice matters, but it does matter. Yeah. And there's a huge demographic of people that struggle the same way I did that relate, and it just shows from my social media, and I'm just getting started,
That's the beauty. I love the mindset. It's always like, I feel like when we have a conversation, it always comes down to mindsets. And
it is.
That's also like another like belief of mine. Honestly, like every change always starts with a mindset.
Can't change if you don't change your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Change your mind, change your perspective, your reality.
Change your life.
Yeah, change your life. And the fact that also like this path of growth that you show with your words, it's like I'm getting chills right now, honestly. Like
Yeah,
it's
and I'm so passionate about it, man.
Yeah.
I am, and I'm so passionate about other people. Like I said, if I could bottle this up and just like people didn't have to go through the hard stuff of facing
Yeah.
their self and looking in the mirror and saying this is who I am and this part of me no longer works and I have to shed this version of me so this person can exist, and I can just say here's a little capsule, I would, because it feels so good to finally be here. But it started with a mindset shift. I had to get out of the victim mentality of, oh, this happened to me, I'm a foster kid, this person I lost this, I'm never worthy, I'm never enough, poor me. And I had to say my trauma wasn't my fault, but now it's my responsibility to unpack the luggage, to heal, to do the work. And it's changed my entire reality. I go from a broke kid in America with no direction to rich in spirit and love. I'm so abundant adult in Thailand that could just wish I could reach back and hug her because she never would have known.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like the shift, you know, I think that everyone who's listening can really feel it in your words, in your energy, in your smile.
Yeah.
It's magnetic.
It excites me.
Yeah, I think that when we were sharing the conversation also, like, it's incredible because I tend to connect with people that I find aspirational, that I find that I have something going on. And this is also the reason why I started this podcast. And I had this dream that actually until last week, it was like a 5% chance. But as you said, it's all about like the mindset of like staying open also.
Yes.
Just taking the steps that probably will lead you to it.
Yeah.
And just having this conversation, hearing your story, just like I anyways want to connect people who want to amplify their voice to make a better impact, who are nomads around the world because they feel this urge to make a change for themselves, to be curious, to hear and to see, you know, what's out there, because that's impacting the way you see your reality. The more information you gather, the more like objective your vision of life can be.
Step back.
Yeah, it's a step back.
It's a bigger picture.
It's a bigger picture that definitely tells you, oh, I thought this was true.
Yeah.
But actually, this was probably part of my background.
Yes.
And
am I viewing it from my triggers or am I viewing it from actual reality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it gives you this objectivity that also allows you to think differently.
Yes.
And I feel like that's also, actually, you mentioned it, bringing the kids was because your dream was Thailand, but also Thailand for you, like allowed you unlock this new vision of like, you know, of yourself and of like how people can be. I mean, the people here is just so
amazing, man.
they
So
spread the
kind,
love.
so sweet. It's hard not to be happy here. And like I said, like kids that come from where I come from might never even get a passport, let alone leave the country. So if I can give them a taste of that early, so when they're 20 or 25 and they're like considering that trip, they're not scared. Because at 14, I went to Thailand with Kamp Khalia and we were cool. It was safe. I was worthy of that then. I'm worthy of it now.
Yeah, and also I think that for them it's gonna be like this unlock of, you know, finding probably themselves. You want to work with teenagers or?
Yeah, ages 14 to 16 is my target demographic because in America you go to college at 18. And once you are going into like your junior year, your senior year, you're deciding if you want to go to college, you want to be an engineer. This gets to give them an opportunity to see life from a different lens so they don't have to decide what they want to be. They get to decide who they want to be. And I think that's very distinctive things, right? Your whole life in the States or in Western society, we're taught work hard, you go to college, you get a job, you have the dream, the house, the car, the wife, the kids, the dog, whatever it may be. But that's limited. I don't want youth to focus on what they want to be. Yes, that's cool. That's how you fulfill your purpose. But your purpose is who you become and who you desire to be.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think that yesterday I was sharing a very similar conversation with my girlfriend, and I was just like, you know, it's my first time actually for more than 3 weeks away from Europe. I've lived in 4 or 5 different countries before, but always in Europe.
Okay.
I've traveled also around quite a lot, but I never really like lived more than 3 weeks away from Europe. And
Okay.
I feel like now seeing the world here, I start questioning like a lot of like the assumptions that we have about like our better Western society.
Yes,
And
of course.
it's incredible, like the
I
new.
say America is the third world country. We just dress nicer. So when you come to Thailand, it might not be all fancy smancy, but for me, rich is love, rich is kindness, rich is the fact that we get to wake up at whatever time of day we want. We choose what we want to do for work. We get to eat for 50 baht. We're rich. You know, we're so rich here. I will choose this rich over working like a slave, unhappy, focused on being in a box. Here, we break that box, and it's a
Yeah.
gift.
I'm totally with you on
Yeah.
that. I think that that's also why nomads, are getting out here, or for
It's
the
traveling.
for the people dreaming about the nomad life. Like you can do it in a sustainable way, just by like respecting the locals,
Yes.
and just by appreciating and being grateful for what we get here,
Yeah.
which is just incredible. And I think that I wish it to everyone.
Me too.
But this leads me actually to my last question.
Okay.
And before that, I want to summarize, I think, a bit of what we've heard. So we've heard that you're love,
I am
you're a
love.
revolutionist,
Yes.
and you're a public speaker, author, you're about to start an NGO
Founder.
founder. So Khalia Butler,
Yes.
what is the one advice that you would like to share with the world right now?
I think the number one advice I would like to share with the world, that's a hard one because there's so many
We like to
things.
keep it deep, not very simple, but
I think that I've said it a million times, but I really, I mean it. The hardest work you're ever going to do is on yourself. So if there is a dream that you have to chase, if there is a goal that you want to follow, no matter how big it is, the first question you need to ask yourself is, do I want the thing, or do I want how it makes me feel? And if I really want it, who am I willing to become to get it? And become that person over and over every day. I'm sober. And in order to be the version I am today, I have to remain sober. Sobriety is a choice that I commit to every day, just like I commit to being the best version of myself. So I would say commit to doing the work, commit to becoming at least 1% better every single day. And one day you'll wake up and you'll be living that dream and you won't even recognize yourself. Like if I look back 5 years ago when I made the choice to get sober and I was having these tug of wars in my brain, who am I without alcohol? Am I gonna lose friends? How am I gonna manage with my stress, my trauma, my pain? I didn't know who I was. And now look at who I've become because I've committed to self. So commit to self and go after that thing relentlessly. And don't let anybody tell you that's too big. Because when someone hasn't given themselves permission to dream, they can't believe it for anybody else. You have to be the person who believes in you.
yeah, it's beautiful thinking, honestly, beautiful
Yeah.
advice. I think that everyone's really gonna cherish.
Sorry.
And I feel like it's really about the journey. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. It's gonna be a lot of struggles. It's not meant to be simple.
No.
Not meant to be easy.
No.
I think that life really starts making sense when you understand that every achievement lies behind
A challenge.
a challenge. And I think that the beauty, the fun, it's really behind overcoming the challenge.
Yes.
And once you unlock that thinking, it's just like life starts
Yeah.
happening.
And every challenge is another level of wisdom. You just get
Absolutely.
better at handling them, right? Like Thailand is a beautiful country, but like you said, life isn't simple, it isn't easy.
Yeah.
Being in a foreign country where you're you're away from everything that you've ever known, and you're navigating the ebbs and flows of making money abroad, visas, all that. It gets rocky. But once you learn that challenges are just preparing you for the next level of who you're becoming, you embrace them.
Yeah.
You embrace them. I don't seek them, I embrace them.
Yeah. Every challenge, every discomfort makes you more, comfortable in a way. Like you manage to settle stronger, deeper, more solid roots everywhere.
Yes.
And it's like we're both thousands of kilometers away from home.
Yes.
We're thousands of kilometers away from like familiar faces or comfort food.
Yeah.
But I think that on this note, we have a little Easter egg on
Okay.
this podcast.
Okay.
And because I'm from Italy,
Okay.
I want to, bring some of my comfort food, actually my favorite food.
Favorite food. Okay.
So with my guests, I love to share a hug
Okay.
and a slice of pizza.
So do you want to hug first or eat
Let's
first?
do a hug first.
Okay. Thank you
Lovely
so much,
conversation.
Giorgio. This has
Yeah,
been
it was a pleasure, Khalil. Thank you.
Let's eat. Oh.
What? So we have my girlfriend bringing in the pizza. Let me sit down.
Okay.
And we just share.
Hello.
Let's see what this pizza looks like.
Oh.
You want to have a slice?
You want a slice with
have
us?
For sure. Take a slice, please. Ladies, take your slices.
So, to this
Whoa.
first
Yeah. Shout out to
Cheers
you.
to you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks. Beautiful conversation.
Amazing. Oh.
The pizza?
Pretty good. For you, no, because you're Italian boy. Just be grateful.
I'm grateful.
What is it? Spinach? Basil?
It's basil, but I think, yeah.
I think that was perfect, bro.
I need to get used to it.
I think that was great. No, I think that was fucking great.
That's nice.
Are we done? Sorry.
We can stop.
I don't want to swear. That was great.
I'm going to include this.
Okay.